You ever get that weird feeling where you've heard something so many times that even if you know it's not true, it just starts to feel true? It's a really unsettling part of how our minds work. And in this explainer, we're going to get right into why that happens and, more importantly, what we can do about it.
So, what's really going on here? Is it some kind of flaw in our thinking or just a weird trick of the mind? Well, the answer is kind of both, and scientists actually have a name for this phenomenon they've been studying for years.
It really all comes down to the power of repetition. Just think about it for a second. The first time you hear a really shocking or outrageous idea, it grabs your attention, right? But what about the 10th time you hear it, or the 100th? That initial shock just fades, and a strange kind of normalcy starts to creep in.
And this gets us to the core scientific concept for today. Psychologists call it the illusory truth effect. And let's be clear, this isn't about people being gullible or unintelligent. It's about the way our brains are hardwired to take mental shortcuts just to get through the day. The definition itself sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? But here's what's happening under the hood. Our brains are always looking for the easy way out. When we hear something over and over, it becomes familiar. It's easier for our brain to process. And then our brain makes this tiny, dangerous leap. It confuses that feeling of ease with a signal for truth. It's like a cognitive glitch in our system.
So it all boils down to this incredibly simple but powerful formula. Repetition creates a feeling of familiarity, and our brain misinterprets that familiarity as truth. It's a mental shortcut that can be so easily exploited, especially now when a single message can be blasted out and repeated endlessly online.
And listen, this isn't just a hunch, it's backed by a ton of research. A 2023 study in the journal Cognition, for example, found something fascinating. Repetition doesn't just make us more likely to believe a statement, it makes us more likely to share it with others. Why? Because we start to feel like it's more accurate. This is exactly why disinformation campaigns are built on repeating the same lies over and over across every platform they can. Okay, so we've got this psychological quirk. What's the big deal? Well, this is where it gets serious. When you take the illusory truth effect and you apply it to the way we talk about other people, the consequences can be incredibly dangerous. This is where words start to build the foundation for actions. Just take a look at these words. A Reuters analysis looked at the kind of language used in some political campaigns, and these are the types of words they found. These aren't just insults, no way. They are very carefully chosen frames. Words like invasion or saying people are not human are designed to do one thing: dehumanize. And when you hear them enough, they stop sounding so shocking and they just start to sound, well, normal. And that is the absolute danger of normalization. When this kind of dehumanizing language just becomes part of the background noise, it lowers our collective standards for what we consider acceptable. Suddenly, discriminatory policies or actions that would have been outrageous before now seem a little more reasonable, maybe even justifiable. The stakes here are just incredibly high. The science on this is crystal clear. There is a direct, predictable link between portraying a group of people as less than human and the public becoming more willing to support aggressive and harmful actions against them. The words we allow to become normal really matter. Okay, I know, this all sounds pretty bleak, but here's the good news. The same science that shows us the problem, well, it also points us toward the solutions. We are absolutely not powerless here. There are concrete, evidence-based things we can do to fight back. So let's run through 3 key strategies that can make a real difference. First up, and this one is so important, repeat the truth, not the myth. Our first instinct when we see misinformation is to share it and say, this is wrong, but all you're doing is giving the lie more oxygen. Instead, we have to relentlessly focus on stating the correct information clearly and repeatedly. Let's make the truth the most familiar thing people hear. Second, we need to build what you could call mental antibodies. The technical term for this is pre-bunking, and it's basically like getting a vaccine for your brain. The idea is to learn about the tactics of manipulation before you're exposed to them. So if you know exactly how the illusory truth effect works, you're way more likely to spot it and resist it when it's used on you. And third, we have to demand better from our media. Headlines that just scream a shocking false claim, even if the article later debunks it, are a huge part of the problem. They're feeding the repetition machine. Good journalism has to frame the story around the facts, right from the very beginning.
So I'll leave you with this final question to really think about. If a dehumanizing frame is repeated 100 times, but the correction is only mentioned once or twice, what do you think actually sticks in our collective memory? Understanding the power of repetition is the first crucial step to making sure it's the truth that wins.